but I do now. And I've tried to teach my own children that when you've had a bath, clean it out for the next person, because you know what it's like when you go into a bathroom and there's that big grimy thing. I get out of the bath, I clean the bath. I go back for another bath, the grime is there. And I go through this kind of question. I'll say to my daughter, I said, do you have a bath? No, Daddy, I didn't. You didn't? No, I didn't. And I'll hear myself saying stupid things like, are you sure? And she'll say, yes, Daddy, I'm sure. I'm 22 years of age. I do know when I take my clothes off. I do know when the bath is full of water. I do know I am capable of recognizing these things. I haven't had a bath. I go to my son, have you had a bath? Mm. Three of us in the house, nobody's had a bath. Mr. Bloody Nobody lives in our house. Has a bath, makes hundreds of phone calls, empties the fridge and pisses off. And the great disappearing lavatory paper act. Have you ever come across that? Nobody uses lavatory paper. But it always goes. I've had my children for years. I brought them up and I'm saying to them, listen, let me explain. Let me explain just very simple physics. The physics of this. And when you take something away from something which is large, it diminishes. It gets smaller. Do you understand? And I have them all in the lavatory with me. And I'm saying, look, this is a lavatory roll. Look. And when I start to take bits of paper off, the big piece here begins to get smaller. And they're all saying, dickhead's off again. And I say, explain it. When you get to the end of it, you'll know there is no paper there, because there is a little cardboard roll. That means all the paper has gone. So when you see the roll, you get off your bum, go to the cupboard, and bring back another roll. Because no adult, when you go to the lab, you don't check to see that the paper is there, do you? And you never notice it's all gone until you've finished. Or they've left one sheet. The older you get in life, the more, I suppose, in a sense, intelligent you should be, because you've gone through the experiences. The more capable you should be, certainly, with dealing with stress. But there are times when you actually think that you've got stress beaten. And then somebody invents or brings in another development. My pet hate at the moment, my real pet at the moment, junk mail. I suffer from junk mail. Now, who needs it? Who wants it? Who in the name of Christ reads it? I did, to start off with. I was taken in by it. I would pick it all up and I go, oh, look at that. Hey, look, I've got a prize. I've got a prize. I've got a prize. Bloody dickhead, I've got a prize. Look at this. Hey, wow-wee. Somebody wants to sell me a book that's worth £10 for 50p. Shit. There's somebody in the south of France with a villa who wants me to share the holidays with them. And I think, why are they doing this? I know why they're doing it. They want my money, that's why they're doing it. It's a con. And not only is it a con, but what they actually do is they play on your emotions. They draw your emotions into it. They draw in kind of things like, they show you the wrong side of yourself. They show you greed and avarice, one-upmanship, all those various things. Then they'll play on your kindness and your generosity, and they'll kind of, your concern for your family or your fear for your family. I mean, isn't it kind of extraordinary to wake up in the morning and the first piece of junk mail you come across is so enlightening because it comes from a life assurance company, which says, I mean, I read it. It says, "Dear Mr. Allen, do you know that you could die today? By natural causes or by accident. Now, isn't it time that you began to think about your family?" I'm thinking, you arsehole. Why do I want to think about them. I'm dying, for Christ's sake. It's me. Do you know that psychologists tell us that the very act of putting three things through a door have sexual connotations? And that to some people, it's precisely like having sexual intercourse. Now, I have no idea whether that's true or not. But if it is true, it means that I'm being screwed by 20 strangers a day. Have you been upstairs and listened to the junk mail come through the door? Sounds like a cow shitting through your letterbox. Now let me tell you, anybody that runs a junk mail company who happens to be watching this show tonight, let me make one thing quite clear. Really, I do not want to buy a house. I do not want to sell a house. I do not want to share a house. I do not want my legs waxed, or my face waxed, or my pipes plumbed. I don't want a new conservatory, a new roof, or a new nose. I don't want to buy a book, play bingo, or have all the fat sucked out of my body. What I want is peace and quiet. So would you please, as a favor to me, take your brochures, take your papers, take your pamphlets, and your vouchers, and very gently, very deliberately, but quite dignifiedly, stick them up your arse. I should have said with great dignity, quite dignifiedly. Quite dignifiedly. The world is here to test us. I mean, I love incongruous things like parks. When I go to a park, there's all the rules and regulations. People don't want you in the parks. No ball games, no skating, no kites, no cycling, no music. This is a recreational area. Piss off. Walk on the path. The path's very important. Walk on the path. Do not walk on the grass. Do not stand on the grass. Do not lie on the grass. Do not hop or roll on the grass. Get off the grass! Don't touch the flowers. Don't pick the flowers. Don't smell the flowers. How could you? They're surrounded by grass. You're not allowed on the grass. Don't climb the trees. Don't swing from the trees. Do not interfere with the trees. What sort of a kinky bastard do they take me for? Sitting around groping oaks all day. I lived near a place which had a small pond. Invariably had ducks on this pond. And I used to go through this every morning. This was years ago. And there's a big sign in the pond which says, "Do not feed the ducks." Feeding of the ducks is forbidden. Feeding of the ducks can lead to prosecution and a possible fine by order of whatever authority it was. And I used to go through that, and there always seemed to be one little duck sitting in the water. And I would go by, and he'd look at me and go, I used to talk to him. I got on talking terms. I said, "I'm sorry. I'm not allowed to. Look, big sign here. I know you can't read, but it says I'm not allowed to feed you. I'm terribly sorry." And one day in the winter, I go through. There's a sheet of ice, and there he is, and it looks like he's huddling. And as I walk by, I go, and I broke. I went off and got a sandwich. And I came back, and I'm surreptitiously feeding him. I'm feeding the duck like I'm a spy, for Christ's sake. And he's in it. And suddenly, from nowhere, I have a lunatic in a uniform beside me. "What are you doing, sir?" "My friend, the duck, gone. He's gone." Pure loyalty. Whack, gone. What do you think you're doing, sir? What? What do you think you're doing, sir? What? I'm just not doing anything. I'm just. All right, sir. Let's put it another way. Can you read? Yes, I can. Can you read that sign? Yes. What does it say? Will you read it? Yes, I can. Well, read it! Out loud! Do not feed the ducks. It's forbidden to feed the ducks. Feeding of the ducks can lead to a possible fire. And what does it mean? What do you mean? What does it mean? What does the sign mean? It means I'm not allowed to feed the ducks. Means what? I'm not allowed to. And what did you do? I fed the duck. And that means you can be prosecuted. No. Please don't prosecute me. Don't challenge me. I didn't mean I'll never do it again. Oh, God. If you summons me, I'll be in court. Oh, Jesus, my children will know that I feed ducks and Do you ever watch this? I love the stress the dog owners go through. See them out there with their dogs sniffing and farting and crying. Do you ever watch dogs in park? Do you ever really watch dogs in park? When they meet another dog, what do? What does a dog do when it meets another dog? They never face each other. So, is this Uranus? Yes. Do you mind me sniffing Uranus? No. Are these your testicles? Yes. Do you mind me sniffing Uranus while you're sniffing my tomato? That was good. What do we do now? Well, there's some turd over there. Let's eat that. And then the master goes, hey, boy, come on, boy, come on, hey, boy, hey, ho, 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 come on, good boy, give Daddy a kiss. Have you ever watched those owners with the dogs playing with the stick game and the rock game? Go, fetch. Go, boy, fetch. Picks it up and he brings it back. Good boy, good boy. Have a good. Good boy. What? Good boy. Good boy. Clever boy. Clever. What is clever about that? What is clever about running over there, picking up a stick and bringing it back here when it was here in the first place? You have to be a real pea-brain to be happy with that. And that goes on all day. Hey, boy. But eventually there's a point where the dog gets tired of it. And he wants to kind of wander off. And that's always the point when the master wants to go home. Hey, boy. And the voice changes. Hey, boy. Now it's not. Hey, boy. Now it's. Hey, boy. Stripes on him now. Hey, boy. Hey, boy. Now the dog wants to go. Hey, boy. Rose. Rose. Rose, come here. Rose, come. Get off him. Rose, get off him. Rosie! Come on! Rose! Rose! Come on, it's 5 o'clock! You hear me? And they take out one of those sonic whistles. Have you seen those things? And they go... And every dog in the... And the great disappearing lavatory paper act. Have you ever come across that? Nobody uses lavatory paper. But it always goes. I've had my children for years. I brought them up and I'm saying to them, listen, let me explain. Let me explain just very simple physics. The physics of it. But I do now. And I've tried to teach my own children that when you've had a bath, clean it out for the next person. Because you know what it's like when you go into a bathroom and there's that big, grimy thing. I get out of the bath, I clean the bath. I go back for another bath, the grime is there. And I go through this kind of question. I'll say to my daughter, I said, do you have this? And when you take something away from something which is large, it diminishes. It gets smaller. Do you understand? And I have them all in the lavatory with me. And I'm saying, look, this is a lavatory roll. Look. And when I start to take bits of paper off, the big piece here begins to get smaller. And they're all saying, a bath? No, Daddy, I didn't. You didn't? No, I didn't. And I'll hear myself saying stupid things like, are you sure? And she's saying, yes, Daddy, I'm sure. I'm 22 years of age. I do know when I take my clothes off. I do know when the bath is full of water. I do know I am capable of recognizing these things. I haven't had a bath. I go to my son. Have you had a bath? Three of us in the house. Nobody's had a bath. Mr. Bloody nobody lives in our house. Has a bath, makes hundreds of phone calls, empties the fridge and pisses off.